The aviation watchdog, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, has told airlines that they're going to be banned from operating a route for a period of 14 days unless they take action against those responsible for filming on board aircraft in contravention of rules which prohibit this. Now, this notification has come after there was a chaos on board an Indigo flight on Wednesday in which Bollywood star Kangana Ranaut was travelling. She was going from Chandigarh to Mumbai. Tabloid media on the flight surrounded her, violated social distancing norms, inconvenienced other passengers as well, and failed to listen to instructions from the crew. And for more on this, we're joined by Vishnu Som. Vishnu, if you could tell us a little bit of details, just take us through what exactly has the DGCA said, and does this apply to this particular incident, or is it going to apply to future such incidents if they happen?
So, Ruby, this is about all incidents. This is a directive from the Directorate General of Civil Aviation. And I think now the onus is on Indigo to act. They've already submitted a report. They've already identified the people who are responsible. There is a no-fly list in this country. There are different degrees of bans. You can be banned for a short period of time or a longer period of time. And the ban applies across all airlines. So therefore, in this particular case, since there is a track record of Indigo taking very proactive action on the basis of a government request against the comedian Kunal Kamra, who had sort of targeted a television journalist by sort of speaking up against him on a Indigo flight, there is a precedent for action to be taken. So therefore, on this case, action needs to be taken against all of those tabloid media. Some reporters were not wearing their masks. Other people were jostling. They were not listening to instructions of the crew. So the Indigo has now been told that, look, it's up to you. You please take action. And if you don't take action, then, for a period of 14 days, you could be banned from this route. Now, every route is financially very lucrative for our airlines, and therefore they cannot suffer anything. So it's the government, or the regulator, I should say, has essentially put the onus on the airlines to act. And if the airlines are empowered to act, then hopefully there will be a situation in which the behavior of passengers, whether it's the media on this case or other people in other instances, is actually looked into. But I think the larger issue over here is that can there be any circumstances in which you're allowed to film on board? The directives say that you can only film on board if you have permission from the DGCA itself. So if you're a family member and you want to click a picture of your...
Right, Vishnu, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just trying to understand now that you said that the onus is on the airline. What kind of action can this airline take against those passengers that already violated all of these COVID measures?
So I just answered that when I mentioned that they could go through a series of bans. It depends on what the extent of the punishment they choose is. There is a no-fly list which is enforced across all airlines.
Right.
But I think the point that I was trying to make over here is that it's up to the airline to actually decide. B, there are questions about what actually happens to passengers who on an aircraft want to take a picture of a family member.
Right.
Will that be banned as well? Because the directive seems to indicate that no, that is not allowed without prior sanction from the DGCA. So it's a complete ban, as it were. It reinforces existing rules, but will there be circumstances in which some permission will be allowed? At the moment, it appears no.